sleigh ride, and I think everybody on the continental Earth has a version of sleigh ride, right?
Yeah, I think
You
so.
know, sometimes these Christmas songs are like the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, pretty much.
Different people all the same
Watch it.
stuff.
We have both the ladies in the studio with us this morning.
Yeah, I'm not really big on the Hallmark movies, though.
You're not?
I think it's from being in a house with only guys for so long.
Okay, I
I'm
can
more,
see that.
yeah, but, you know.
They toughened her up.
They have. Well, I just gave up.
We watch stuff like the Age of Griffith Christmas, Three Stooges Christmas, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't watch the Hallmark.
But, you know, we did watch Rudolph, and I DVR'd it for my grandkids to watch it. I'm sure they've seen it, but just like Christmas music, I don't think you can get too much Rudolph, so.
No way.
If you can hear Sonya, she's having some problems with her voice.
Well,
She's
you were
having
out
some-
sick last
Yeah,
week.
I'm better now. I'm much better than I was. I know I don't sound great, but.
There for a couple of days, there was nothing happening.
And he liked it. I couldn't talk at all, and he just loved it.
Boy. And you were in here praying for that.
Yeah.
I can't believe you did
I
that.
would walk in a room, I heard this, and I was like, "What?" You know, and then I started getting text messages. You know,
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That she's texting you for chores.
I don't know what the ones you want.
I know. You do what you got to do.
All right, Sonia Edwards from Bryan Insurance in the studio with our Insurance Minute this week. What tip can you give us?
Well, we're going to talk about an interesting topic. I had somebody ask me what's different on if you're a trucker and your insurance that you carry versus just a regular auto policy, and that kind of opens up a pretty big can of worms because when people talk about trucking insurance, there's so many different types and things. And at our agency, we have several employees that have been writing trucking insurance for over 30 years.
Okay.
And some of them, I would say the majority of these that I'm talking about are much more experts in the subject than me, but they didn't want to come talk on the radio. So I don't know what they're scared of. I said, they're really nice down there. I don't know why you don't. But anyway, but when you're talking about trucking, of course, there's interstate and intrastate. Intrastate's when you stay in the same state. Interstate when you cross back and forth. When you go into other states, that can bring up some interesting things. Like, for example, Texas, you are not required to carry workers' comp. I mean, you have to be a non-subscriber if you don't carry it, but you're not required to. But if your truck goes into a state that requires it, you may have to. It just depends on that state. So that's one big consideration that we've had people that weren't prepared and got over in that state and couldn't keep going because they didn't have the proper coverage. And then another thing that's important is if you're a trucker, what are you hauling? If you're hauling what the state or federal government considers hazardous materials, and there's special limits of that you're required to carry, and then there's what's called filings, which is when the insurance company lets the government, state, or federal, or both know what coverage you carry and that kind of thing. So that's important. And then you need to watch your hauling if you're wanting to cover the items that you're hauling, which is called cargo insurance. That's not automatically on an auto policy. So if you want to cover that, that's to be a thing too. And then how far are you going? There's what's called a hot shot, which are short trips. And then there's, long haul trucking. So, the most important thing I would say is if you're a trucker or you're thinking about it, because we're seeing that too, where people are doing something else, it's not working out, so they're thinking about maybe getting a truck. Talk to an insurance agent that you trust. We'd love for you to call us. We can also put you in touch with some people that's outside the insurance realm of it, but maybe with how you need to do your safety compliance and that kind of thing. We can partner you up with some people along with your agent, risk manager, Bryan Insurance, to help you know what you need to do to be sure that what you think is covered, what's required is covered, and that everybody can, no pun intended, move on down the road safely.
One of the things I think may be one of the biggest violations I know you can address this, is let's say you got some guy out there who's a weekend plumber or carpenter or something like that, and he takes his personal vehicle to use it for commercial use.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. It just kind of depends on your personal auto policy. I would recommend if you're using your vehicle for business use, really need it on a commercial policy, especially if it's not an incidental type thing. I mean, it's one thing, you're running to the grocery store, not to the grocery store, to the post office, and that's business use, but not all the time. But if you if you do have a vehicle for business use, there are some exclusions on personal auto policies. Not necessarily, it definitely wouldn't be covered. I can't say that, but there could be some things that you might not think about that if you have a personal auto and not a business. So,
Well, you might have somebody has a large truck, let's say, and they're cutting fence post or wood or something like that, hauling on a semi, but they don't have a commercial policy. They can really get themselves into problems.
yeah, and of course, one good thing about it, when you're talking about a semi truck, a personal auto isn't going to cover that anyway. So you'll probably find that out when you try to insure it. But like I always say, don't be surprised. Talk about it before it happens, so that you won't be surprised after an accident.
Yeah, because you don't want to find out then after it's
No.
all said
No,
and
that's
done.
never good.
So folks need to get a hold of you guys.
Well, you can call us at 940-549-2525. You can come see us, second floor Sierra Bank building here in downtown Graham, or visit us at www.bryanins.com.
Okay, I got a question. Was Rick on his best behavior at Thanksgiving last Thursday?
He was. But
Yeah, I got throw up on.
Well, he did our grandson.
Yeah,
But no, he was. It was great. It was just. I love being with our kids and grandkids, and we didn't have a lot, which is fun to have extra friends and stuff. But this time it was just us, and it was a blast. And yes, Rick was on his best behavior. The food that he cooked and took with us was amazing. In addition to what my mom made and his mom made and her daughter-in-law. So yeah, we had too much food.
Rick was texting me pictures of his bacon wrapped turkey.
Yeah.
Show me how it was progressing.
It was
It
good.
was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
And then he made our two oldest grandkids their own. He told them it was a turkey, but it was really one of those Cornish game hens. And they thought that was cool to have their own turkey.
I bacon wrapped that thing too. Smoked those. It was funny because Landry, he went over there. My oldest grandson, he goes over. He rips the legs off of his, and then somehow ripped the legs off Norris.
Yeah,
too,
that's his favorite parts of the legs. And then
No.
Bo got a can of turkey baby food. So
he got a
yeah.
can of turkey baby food, and he threw up on me.
Yeah, so
There you go.
So it's all good. You know, it's a Christmas, Thanksgiving blessing to be.
no,
thrown
it
up on.
was a good day.
All right, Sonny, last question. Is Brad behaving himself over there?
He is.
Yeah.
He is. He's working really hard lately. I mean, he always has, but I think I've mentioned this before, but sometimes I've been off work for 2 or 3 hours and drive by and he's still there. So yeah, I don't think he's had much time to get into too much trouble because he's so busy.
Well, tell him I said hi.
I will do
I haven't
that.
talked to him in ages.
I'll do that.
Thank
y'all.
you. That's Sonia Edwards from Bryan Insurance Agency. What's your phone number again?
940-549-2525.